How to make a simple circle bouffant cap.
Hi guys, Dr. Lily here with my Pocket Pediatrician, and in this tutorial we are going to be making simple circle bouffant caps. It's a quick and easy tutorial. There's an option to use elastic like on her, but because there are elastic shortages and it's really hard to come by, you can also use a tie in them. So I have two options for you here with this one. This is just called my simple circle bouffant cap. So let's get started. It's a really quick and easy hat to make.
We're going to start with the simple circle bouffant cap. There are two options for this one. One uses elastic and one uses a tie. For materials, you just need three 16-inch circles or about 3/4 of a yard of cotton, and then you need 14 inches of elastic or one 42-inch tie. To start with, you need to cut your template out of paper or some other material. So when I'm doing this, I like to make as many marks as possible so I get a good circle. You can tell on one of the other ones where I only made 4 marks that my circle actually came out kind of wonky, and you don't want that. So put as many marks in a circle as you can so you get a nice circle. Now you're going to use that template to cut out 3 circles. In order to save on my fabric, what I do is I take my fold and move it so that I'm only cutting through 2 16-inch layers. And that way I have a nice strip of fabric at the bottom that I can use for something else later. Now that I have my circles, I'm going to take 2 of them and cut them into rings that are about 4 inches thick. So all I do is mark 4 inches on each side and on the top, and I cut out an inner circle, which winds up being about 8 inches in diameter. Now, if we're going to use elastic for our cap, these are our next steps. First, we're going to sew the 2 rings together, right sides together. And I'm just going to go all the way around the inner rim, sewing those stitches together using a simple straight stitch, going fully around my ring. Now what I'm going to do is take my elastic piece and use it to cover about 2/3 of the inner portion. So my elastic is nice and stretchy. Now all elastic stretches differently, so you may need a different amount. But what I'm going to do is stretch while I sew. I'm using a zigzag stitch as I move it around, and I cover about 2/3 of the inner ring of my circle there. You can see that I have a nice flat piece which is going to go across the forehead, but the rest of it is stretchy so that it'll hold together well. Now I'm going to turn it right side out and press it. Once it's flat, I'm going to top stitch over the entire circle ring again so that it lies flat. And I can use a straight or a zigzag, it's up to you, but you have to stretch your elastic while you sew or else it won't be stretchy enough to wear on your head. Now I'm going to take that intact circle, the third one that I didn't cut, lay it flat, and then put this circle on top of it, and I'm going to stitch all the way around the outer rim. Again, I have to stretch my fabric a little bit as I go. You can use a straight stitch here because nothing's stretchy on this side. And I've got my right sides together. So the hat kind of bunches a little bit as I'm sewing. Now I'm going to just turn it right side out and you can wear it. So that's a very simple, quick and easy hat. The only problem is elastic can be hard to find. But it's nice, it's comfortable, it covers your hair, it stays on. So if you're looking for a simple, easy cap, especially if you have a lot of hair, this is a great option. It's very easy to make intuitively. It does look a little bit like a shower cap, but you can use cute fabric and make it look cuter. Now, because elastic is so hard to find, there's another option that you can use, pretty much basically the same hat, but you can see there's a little bit of a tie underneath her neck. You can use pre-cut bias tape, or you could actually make your own. So let's talk about how to do that here. I'm going to still use my 3 circles, but this time when I sew my inner rings together, I'm going to take my scissors and clip 2 little clips, very small, about 1 inch apart. And then what I'm going to do is sew around the ring, leaving the space between those 2 clips open so I have a place for my ties to come out, right in that little area. So I'm just going to run a straight stitch around the inner ring again, just like I did before, but this time I'm just making sure I don't sew that little tiny gap there. Now I'm going to turn it right side out and press it flat. And I can find my little hole there, and I know that that's where the ties are going to stick out. One thing I like to do is I take those 2 little flaps and I sew them down just using a simple straight stitch. You don't have to do this step, but your hat will last a little bit longer if you do. So I just run the machine over it, sew them flat so that there's no loose edges or anything that can start to get fuzzy after repeated washing and wearing. Now I'm ready to sew my channel around the outer. portion of that ring. So I'm going about 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the edge, and I'm just going to sew a full and complete ring all the way around. This is creating the channel that my tie is going to go inside. Now, just like on the other hat, what I'm going to do is take my intact circle, place it over the top so I have right sides together, and I'm going to stitch all the way around the outer rim of the hat, going in a complete circle. Simple straight stitch again, just like we did before. This time we just don't have the elastic inside. So quickly just run around my hat. This is easier when the elastic's not on it. And now I have a hat and I have to make my tie inside. So you can either make your own tie or you can cut one. I'm making one here, and that's 44-inch wide fabric, and this is a bias tape maker that somebody gave me off a 3D printer. I cut my strip to be 1 1/4 inches wide, and now I'm just running it through my bias tape maker, which folds it over, and then I'm sewing a straight stitch over it as I go. This is quick and easy, or you can buy pre-cut bias tape. You want to cut it somewhere between 35 and 44 inches long. Now what you're going to do is just turn the cap right side out, and you're going to thread your tie through that channel that we just made. So I attached a safety pin to one end of my tie, and I'm just pushing it in that little opening, squeezing it through, making sure I keep my other end through at the other end, and I'm just going back to the same hole the first one came out, and now it's done. So now all we're going to do is flatten out the center of it opposite the hole for the entryway, and so this is going to be the part across the forehead. We're just going to stitch it down just about 8 inches or so, just so the person wearing it doesn't pull the tie out of the channel. So that's it. It's done. It functions pretty much just the same as the one with the elastic. They look identical, still has that same shower cap kind of feel to it, but with the right fabric, it could be cute. And it's a great option. It keeps all your hair covered. And this is a very functional, simple, easy cap to make.
So thanks for watching. This is actually one of 4 different tutorials I have on medical scrub hat types of hats you can wear. So please check out those other videos. There's also a video comparing all 4 of them, which you can see here. And if you take a look at that video and you comment on that video by May 15th, 2020 on what your favorite style is, I will select one winner at random, and I will actually mail that winner all 4 hats. All you have to do is leave a comment saying which one you like the best, and I will pick somebody at random and mail them all 4 hats so they can try them out for themselves. This is Dr. Lily with My Pocket Pediatrician. Thanks for stopping by.
When the doctor says my child has a condition, I'll learn more at My Pocket Pediatrician.